What's up? What's up? Big Chads. Let's get things set up, folks. Let's get things set up, folks. It is a Tuesday, July 5th, 2022, another day alive here on this planet. I am just happy to be alive. I'm happy to be able to join you here today. I am probably best known as, Big Chads on Twitter. I put out a lot of stuff, academic observations about price, trading psychology, risk management. I have a lot of fun with that. I love doing these YouTube videos. Of course, I'm on YouTube at Sheds Trading. I don't really do it that often because I try to focus my attention on Bitcoin Live, where I'm a founding analyst. Twice a week, I do a full market update. I cover, all the major coins. I cover altcoin requests. And members have done well, really kind of navigating the market. We called the top as it happened, and we've just kind of been in control for a while now. So I'm quite proud of that. So I don't actually do these videos that often because I kind of save my energy and save my time for those Bitcoin Live market updates. But listen, you don't have to pay for anything. Go to my YouTube channel, go to the playlists. Check out that tutorials masterclass webinar playlist. That's really going to help you get started. How to set up your chart, moving averages, understanding basics about trend analysis. I would encourage you to check that out. I am, of course, the author of Trading Wisdom, 50 Lessons Every Trader Should Know. That's another, another way that I'm known. And I really want to say thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate how well the book has been received. It's kind of nuts. I mean, look at those ratings. It's pretty much ridiculous. It's done way better than I, really ever thought it would do. I have a free version for you. Go to my YouTube again, Ched's Trading. Look on the playlist. I'm doing one lesson at a time for you for free. I'll eventually get the whole thing out. I've got 15 lessons. I'll probably do another one, I'd say next week. Let's get me back there. I'll probably do another one, I would say next week. So that's some of that intro stuff just kind of out of the way. So thank you for joining. It's fun. I love the fact that I've been doing a lot of spaces recently on Twitter, and I would encourage you to check those out. Twitter is impersonal. It's just, and by the way, let me know if you can hear me okay. Twitter is just impersonal, just some words, but I like being able to talk to people. I like some of that long form stuff. Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate that. Love your book. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of that. I like the fact that I can just go live and talk to you wherever you are in the world. There's only 300 of you right now, but that's fine. You are the lucky ones. You're the ones who decided to take time out of your day to hang out with me. I'm going to drop some free alpha. I'm going to take your questions, and I'm really going to kind of explain the market moves. Let's get this back up. My last video like this was on 6/25, June 25th. So I've kind of selected some tweets that I kind of want to go through, things to kind of explain from that point kind of up until now. And then, we'll jump into the chat room and I'll take your questions and all that. So why don't you let me know where you are in the world? I love that. I love to hear that you folks are kind of in all these like exotic places in the world. It's fun to kind of reach out and connect with you. What's up, Chad? It's good to see you, Universe. First time to catch you live. That's awesome. Netherlands. Great to hear from Netherlands. Book. Someone says the book is awesome. I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let's see where everybody's coming from. Italy. What's up? Ciao. What's up, Italy? Australia. Peru. What's going on? ¿Cómo estás? Ustedes in Peru. Respect from Pakistan, and my respect to you. And respect to you for you're being devout in what you believe in. So thank you for joining us today. What's up, brother man? Great to see you. Kentucky. What's up to you in Kentucky? Hope you are doing well. I've only really driven through Kentucky. I've not spent too much time in there. Solid Jam, that's Church of Eight Wheels, and all this good stuff. So let's see. Kosovo. It's great. Good to see you, Kosovo. El Salvador. What's going on? And what is it? Is it Bukele, President Bukele watching here? Frankfurt, Germany. Guten Tag. Guten Tag. Good to see you, South Dakota. Nice to see you, South Dakota. Minneapolis, Kashmir region. That's fantastic. Indonesia. Look, this is unbelievable. Colorado, Morocco. I worked with a guy at a restaurant, and he was awesome. He was from Morocco, and he was just a good dude. So I have like good feelings about Morocco just from that guy who he was a chef in a restaurant that I worked at. Ireland, Dominican Republic, Hawaii. Look at this. Like we're just hanging out. It's a worldwide thing. So and Brazil, buona noche, obrigado, Marcos. Thanks for joining. So, folks, you're not here to hear me butcher your languages. You're here to kind of hopefully hear me drop some alpha. Again, the book's on Amazon, free version on YouTube. Definitely encourage you to check out Bitcoin Live. So let's start with, I'm going to go through some stuff and I'll jump in and take your questions. So what are we doing here? So after the last, so let me just start kind of a little bit outside in. What's going on with Bitcoin? What's going on with Bitcoin? What are we on? The daily chart here. Daily chart and Bitcoin. All right. There's a daily chart, the kind of the index here on TradingView. Are we bullish or are we bearish? We're clearly bearish. I mean, that's not really like a debate. It's just a question of when the trend may reverse. If you kind of review my work up until this point, I've been warning you to be careful. I've been warning you on Twitter, on Bitcoin Live, on YouTube to kind of be careful of these bounces, the false breakout, these just kind of generic mean reversion rallies, lower Bollinger to EMA 8, and then to 34, lower Bollinger to, EMA 34, the yellow line. Right now, like the boss, the kind of the most important one is the EMA 34, the daily EMA 34. That's what's stopped the price pretty convincingly, right? Since April, we had the false breakout. And before that, we had the double top with the up thrust. And then we started to recapture the EMA 34. We set the high water mark at 45, 46K, rejected, broke up above it, came back below it. It was full risk off. If you've been following me, you should have been completely out of the market, 45, 46K. Before that, you would have been completely out of the market around 55K when we called that kind of failed, double eve, double bottom. So there's been times. What do you do now? What do you do now? I was having a DM conversation with a guy who had like bought in at 3K, wrote it to 69K, and it was back at 20. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's tough now. Like, would you sell here? I don't know. I feel like we're probably closer to the bottom than the top, but hard to kind of know what the construction, hard to kind of know what that construction is going to be, right? Look, why do I use the indicators? Listen, I've already done it, right? I can't, so go to my YouTube, hit playlists, go to the tutorials, watch these videos. I've explained it. These are like hour 20 long master class. I mean, I could charge $1,000 for each of these and they're free. Just enjoy it. Answer all your questions. I do it to make my life easier so I don't have to keep explaining everything every time. So that, go check that out. That's why I use the indicators I use. What are we doing? Where's the bottom? I've kind of talked a lot on Twitter about needing to see like a sentiment bottom, needing to see more people kind of giving up, thinking the bottom, thinking Bitcoin will never recover. We need to see that. We haven't quite seen that yet. There's still too much hope and enthusiasm. Needing to see like a volatility and volume type of bottom. We haven't seen that either. I've been talking about the 12 to 14K range since March on Bitcoin Live and then since April on Twitter. So, now that we're closer, I'm not going to abandon that, right? So, we had the clear breakdown at 30K. And then we had the kind of test of the prior all-time high. We're back below it. And now we're trading below the weekly MA 200. That's a major problem. So I don't want to spoil these future tweets. So maybe I'll just jump into them and we'll go sequentially. And that will kind of get everything fleshed out, essentially in the way I'm trying to. And once again, thank you for watching. Who pays for this? It's free, brother. Well, you don't have to pay for it, man. Wookie, Chewy. Chill out there, Chewbacca. It's free. You don't have to pay for it, man. Nobody's paying for it, brother. So, so let's talk about this. BTC observing outside bar at the upper Bollinger Band with an up thrust after an advance. Let's watch for the follow through. Snippet from Trading Wisdom. It's from my book, kind of talking about outside bars, right? So what was I saying? So that's in the context of this bearish pennant that we are in. So, but we'll drop to that lower time frame and we will look for that. Let's just quickly check the date. That was on June 26th. Let's see, June 26th. Boom, 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 boom. Here we go, June 26th. So, up thrust. What is that? So we had already, we had set a low here on June 18th and we bounced. Set the low June 18th. We bounced. We set the lower high on the high of that June 21st candle at 21.7. So I had tweeted out, could be a Wookiee conspiracy, just saying the Wookiee market. It's true. Wookiee market, they're deep right now. They're deep in the red. I basically said, keep an eye on that lower high, right? That's the lower high. Keep an eye on that. So here what I'm saying is observing an outside bar at the upper Bollinger Band with an up thrust. Here we go. Here's the 21.7. This is a 4-hour chart, right? Rule of thumb is you drop to lower time frame. You blocked me on Twitter. What's your handle? I'll unblock you. Amnesty. I'm all about amnesty. Type your handle in here. I'm gonna unblock you, and then if something happens again, I'll unblock you. But drop your handle here. I'm happy to give you another shot, Crystal. So go ahead and drop that in there, and I'll unblock you. So here was the lower high. Price went upper Bollinger. By the way, so you go to lower time frame when the price is at a key level. 4 hours, a good kind of a trading time frame. Pardon me. Drop to the lower Bollinger Band, ride back up, and then we have the up thrust. What does that mean? We briefly broke above this high and then dip below it, and then we have the outside bar. And this candle is an outside bar, kind of eclipsing or kind of enveloping that prior momentum, of this move up here. So it's a sign that you want to be careful, right? And I talk about that here in the book. Outside bar eclipses the range of the prior candle. It's kind of a momentum eclipsing signal. In its context, where does it appear? In this case, it's appearing up at the upper Bollinger Band after an advance, right here, right? So I'm basically saying here, right there, right on this day in this tweet, I'm saying observing an outside bar, basically be careful, pay attention. Okay. Chad, you're a bear. Why won't you just let bulls have fun? No, like I'm watching this 17 hours a day, folks. I'm doing it for me because it's just my favorite hobby right now, but I'm doing it for you. And this is just what I do. So deal with it, right? So we observe the outside bar at the upper Bollinger Band after the advance. And then boom. So far, excellent returns from this observation. So there you go. You had a nice trade, a nice short on that observation, 21, 21, whatever, 21.4, all the way back down to 20.2K at that point, right? So, that's low time frame trading. That's kind of observing what the price is doing when it's at a key level, right? We already had the daily pivot. Let's go back to daily. We already had let's clean it up. It's getting a little complicated here. We already had the fact that we set the lower high here, and then the price was advancing there and came up, broke the high and came back below it, right? You're always kind of paying attention for that type of a thing. Broke that high, came back below it, 4-hour outside bar at the upper Bollinger Band after an advance, yada, yada, yada. There it is, right? I'm just showing you what I'm observing. You can take with it what you will. I try to balance on Twitter between explaining. I don't want to explain the whole thing because I want people to be a little bit curious. Like, what does he mean? I want you to either go watch a video or just to Google something, right? I want you to, that's what I do. I just tell you what the charts are saying. That's all there is. The price is the only truth. I want you to be curious. I'm always pushing you. It's like that mother bird who pushes the baby bird out of the nest. I'm trying to get you to I'm trying to see if you can fly. If you can't fly, not going to work out so well. So there's that. Excellent returns from the observation. Real nice trade. High, lower high, higher low. We eventually tested that higher low and broke it. All right. What's the next one? This is interesting, right? So I saw a lot of people calling for an inverted head and shoulders. I was not on board with that. So And what did I have the time frame here? Inverted head and shoulders. This is like a 4 hour. So what are we looking at? So you can kind of see it where people were like, all right, boom, that's it. There we go. There's your shoulder. There's your head. There's your shoulder. But with the head and shoulders, there's a lot of stuff to take into account. The volume actually did match up. You want the most volume in the left shoulder. You want a little bit less volume in the head and even less volume in the right shoulder. So the volume profile actually did match up. So that's check mark. But I didn't like the structure. You had this kind of descending neck baseline, right? A descending line. And the whole thing with you really do not want to structure your trade based on a descending line because the whole like how do you know when it fails? Because if it breaks through it and comes back, next time you test it, you're already lower, right? BTC is super dead. Save yourself. This is good. I want to see more of this for the bottom. This is what I want to. This is what I want to see, right? I want to see more of this stuff, right? Don't hate the player, hate the game. Respect to that one, right? So look, you don't ever base a trade based on a descending neckline break. Like a descending trend line shows you a trend, not a line. So you don't go long based on a line break. You have to use horizontal structure. So when I'm playing a head and shoulders pattern, I'm looking for a horizontal neckline. Like where do I define it? Like up here? Is it here? Like where's my breakout point? I need a very clearly defined breakout point because when I enter a trade, I'd like to enter as close to invalidation so I don't stick around forever, right? I want to enter as close as I can to invalidation. So I saw this setup and I'm thinking, no dice. I'm not playing it. You had kind of a funky looking, ill-formed head and shoulders, but it was inside a very clearly defined bearish rising wedge. Bearish rising wedge. Like, what are you doing? Why are you looking for this minor reversal inside the larger bear trend? It's a super duper bear trend, rising wedge. I put out a tweet. I think right on this day, right there, and basically said spinning top at kind of EMA 8, which is primary downtrend resistance. In a moment where you could say it's a bear, a bear rising wedge, it's a bear pennant, it's a bear flag. I mean, you could draw. It doesn't matter what you name it. It's bearish continuation, bearish consolidation, likely to break down, and then boom, right? So don't let the pumpers get you off track. Like you got to stay focused on the larger trend, work your way down. So the problem with this was that you did not have a very well-defined neckline, a neck baseline. Like, how do you play this? I wasn't playing that, you know. If it was a clean, lean, you know, head and shoulders with a neck baseline here, I know where I'm going long. I also know where the head and shoulders fails, right? I've talked about this many times. I'm not breaking ground. You can review my old videos, which I encourage you to do. If you're losing money, if you're struggling, it's your fault unless you go watch my old videos. And then even after that, there's no guarantee, but like you got to take advantage of what's out there, right? This isn't the first video I've done on YouTube, all right? you know. So take advantage of it, right? So that's that, right? This is what I'm talking about. Exactly why I only play head and shoulders with a clearly defined neck baseline. Didn't qualify. Look at this. You break it and you just retest it all the way down. Like, what are you doing? So when you see people, now when you see people calling this out, they kind of haven't done their homework or they're really not that experienced, more or less, right? Thanks for what you do. Many thanks to you. That's awesome. Good job. Good job. Appreciate that, right? I look really stupid. Oh, I look really stupid. I mean, look at me. I'm a guy in an orange mask. But I'll tell you this though. I'll tell you this much. You may think I look stupid, but I'm still amazed that a guy in sunglasses and an orange mask is more trustworthy than 99% of crypto YouTubers and Twitter influencers. So deal with it, right? You can judge me based on this. I value my anonymity, but I put out the real deal. I have a body of work. You can measure it up against anybody else. I called top in the exact day. I've been calling every move since. So deal with it. But yeah, I do look silly, but if you can't get over that, that's on you, not me. All right. So let's just get that out of the way. So this is why I'm not playing these kind of facts. Darn right, Crypto Potato. Good to see you. I've seen you on the spaces. Nice to see you. So that's why I'm not playing these head and shoulders or that descending neck baseline. So here we go. This is a controversial tweet. I retweeted it and I kind of triggered a couple people. So the next daily candle with a 10K low to high range will start to mark the bottom. Why? Why, Ched? Cheds, why, Cheds, right? Please, sir, me familia, right? Um, like this trend is strong. Like this is a trend. This is a very strong trend, right? Daily chart. We'll get to this later. Daily chart, MA200 is rolling over, confirmed downtrend. We've been warning about that, talking about it. Weekly chart. I mean, if we get this MA200 flatten out and roll over, it's gonna take some time, but we're in real danger here. We're in kind of uncharted territory. We have these closes below the 200, but right at it back in 15. We haven't had this deep a price penetration ever. Um, so point is, we've got a strong trend. So to reverse a trend, you need volume and you need volatility. And if you've been around Bitcoin as long as I have, and it's not like that long, I've only been in Bitcoin since 2017, 5 years. There's OGs, there's folks who I consider OGs who've been around the whole time. I mean, it's not me, right? I'm not like Tone Vase or like Crypto Kobe or whatever. These folks who've been around. I've just been around for a few cycles now, right? You need but I have studied professionally trend analysis, classical charting, Japanese candlesticks. I've been practicing this for many years. I wrote a book, so I have some expertise. You need volume and volatility to reverse a trend. I've been basically saying we need this type of a candle where everyone's like, what just happened? This is ridiculous. So we're right here at 20K. Let's say it drops, let's say we need like a big, wide, like a long range candle with crazy volatility to mark a bottom. And we don't have it yet. So we need, I look, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm always telling you what I believe to be true. All right. Love your content here in Bitcoin Live. Thank you so much. Peter Brandt is an absolute legend. And by the way, I just want to say I'm just honored to announce that my next long form interview will be with Peter Brandt on July 20th. Like, what are we talking about? This guy, diary of a professional commodity trader. I'm interviewing him on July 20th. The guy is like a legit legend, and we've got a good relationship. And I've met him. He's a nice guy, and he's my colleague. Somehow I'm a colleague with Peter Brandt. Imagine that. Look at me, Ma. I've made it, right? So I have an interview with him on July 20th. Keep an eye on that. So, but listen, we need volume and we need volatility to kind of reverse this trend to kind of get something going. So this is what I believe. If it doesn't happen, fine. I'm just telling you what I feel to be true. Take from that kind of what you will. All right. Let's go next. All right. So altcoins, right? So I just picked some alt, and when I do these quick market updates, this will be in this playlist, this video right now. Quick market updates. When I do these updates, I kind of look at tweets in between the videos. And I think about what are some interesting, even like thought-provoking things to say and kind of talk about. So like altcoins, like are we stacking altcoins? I think that's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's not wise because I'm a trend analyst. I'm not a fundamental guy. I don't believe in the ecosystems. I don't believe in the projects. I don't believe in the dev team or any of that stuff. I only believe in the price. It's the only thing that really matters to me. And I think it's crazy to start stacking alts when these downtrends are so strong. And I firmly believe that it doesn't make any sense to buy altcoins until Bitcoin bottoms. When Bitcoin bottoms, and we'll know when it's bottomed, at least temporarily. I'll be tweeting it. Other people will be tweeting it. You'll see the things I've been talking about, the volume and the volatility. We'll tag, we'll at least kind of tag this supply level, this demand level here, kind of 12 to 14K. Just wait for that. Like, why would you be buying altcoins now when the downtrend is so strong. So I think it's crazy to buy them now, long ways to go. And this whole concept of cheap, I had a good I had a good friend of mine who I talked to. I was on vacation. I was down in Virginia and I was talking to him. It was like 3 months ago, and he's like talking about like he's buying SHIB and buying SOL. And I'm like, why, bro? Like I'm Cheds. Like, why don't you call me and ask me what I think? Like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh no, they're cheap, right? They're cheap. Okay. What does that mean? Cheap. Like cheap. There's no such thing as cheap. Like the market is the market. It's whatever you can buy and sell it for, right? In that movie, Margin Call, we're selling to willing market participants, like participants at like a fair price. Like the price is the price. Like cheap. There's no such thing as cheap. Like you do not know more than the market. Okay. Like, it's worth what it's supposed to be worth. You gotta fix your thinking, right? Like, you don't know more than the market. The trend is strong, it's headed down, you know, like, what are you doing, right? There's no such thing as cheap. It's just nonsense. All right, next tweet. So, all right, what are we saying here? And this is just me, whatever. Like, so Twitter, take it with a grain of salt. I'm darn proud of the work I've done on Twitter, right? I called top on the day. I warned you weeks beforehand. I've been warning you every bounce since then to fade it. But like you'll see me, I will clout chase. I have an ego. I'm trying to grow my brand. Like, so, I'm human. So like, please accept that. But like, I'm also always honest. Like I'm always honest. It's just free association thought. Here's what I think. And oftentimes it's just brutally honest. Here's what I think. And the biggest problem, people will just tell you what you want to hear. And you saw all those folks who grew their accounts brand new to Twitter, 2021. Now they have 3, 4, 500K followers, just telling you, stock to flow, whatever theory, it's going to 2, 300K. I'm out here telling you it's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you it's going to suck. It's going to suck before it gets better. Like you're just people telling you what you want to hear in your chat room, in your Discord. That's your therapy. That's your cope group. I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to hopefully make you be more informed, hopefully to make you feel more confident, and kind of more educated, right? So here's just me. I'm just gonna lay out how I think. So I'm waiting for 14K to start adding back to my hodl. Why? Well, why, Cheds? Oh, that's crazy. Well, I've literally been talking about, 12 to 14K, since like the 35, 40K range on Twitter. Go look up the tweet go look up the tweets where I talked about it. Um, it just makes sense. It just makes sense for us to kind of tag this range. I added some back to my hodl in the 40K range, right? Back up when we were up here and it looked like we were going to hold. I'll show you on the daily. It's a little bit better established, a little bit easier, a little bit better illustrated on the daily chart where we were going to, it looked like we probably should have held the highs of January, the lows of February, the top of the 80-day rectangle, the macro high or low. I mean, I've said this like probably 50 times by now. And so when we were here, I started to add back in this range. But I got out. I sold whatever hodl I had kind of added back here. I sold on the false breakout. I'm like, I'm out. And that's another thing. Like, what's the point of a hodl? Like, you're never supposed to sell. Like, when the market's like this was full risk off. I tweeted out like risk off. I don't have to pull up the tweet. It's there. This is a like unbelievable warning sign sell signal back there in April. So I basically said, I'm waiting till 14K to add to my hodl, but I don't know that like that's the bottom. Like, is that the bottom? It's just a target, and it's not about the price. It's about how you get there. And, I tweeted out some clips from Bitcoin Live, March 6th report. By the way, I highly recommend Bitcoin Live. I put my whole reputation behind the work I do there and just the world-class team that I'm part of. I talked about the fact that it's not about the price, it's how you get there. And the fact that we kind of slow bled into the WMA 200 weekly simple moving average 200 period. We're less likely to just bounce off of it, right? You need a shock, a violent drop into it. and we kind of slow bled into it. And given that we didn't have that price structure at 20K, any kind of support, the whole concept of a chart that kind of rocket ships up, it will slow bleed down because of the absence of the price structure, pausing and consolidating along the way. It just made sense, 12 to 14K. But I don't know that we're going to hold there. I have to see the price interaction with that level. So that's just for me an area of interest. And yes, I'm more bearish than my colleagues, and like I can totally live with that. I kind of don't care. It like almost makes me feel better. Like I just gotta be me, and I'm gonna be me, and I'm gonna be me, and by the way, I'm gonna be me, right? So you know, this is a big problem with the WMA turning into resistance. Like that's a major issue. Look at this. Look at this price interaction now with the weekly, MA 200. We've never been this deep below. We've never had it kind of essentially. You're the best. I hope have you a bull run. Listen, um, this is a quote. This is a quote from book 3, which I am working on right now. Trading quotes, right? Trading quotes. I'm getting ready to print out version 3 of my editing copy. I have it out later the year. So the quote from book 3 is, if this is your first bull market, just make sure it's not your last. And you're like, whoa, what does that mean? What does that mean? If it's your first, I'm sorry. If this is your first bear market, just make sure it's not your last. It's like, wait a minute, what does that mean? Well, listen, it means survive. Like it means survive. You survive this bear market, you stay through the next bull market, and you can make it all the way to like the following bear market, right? It's just basically saying like stick around, survive, manage your risk. We're in kind of uncharted territory here, given the kind of price penetration. 532 of you, good to see you here. Given that price penetration below the weekly MA 200, right? That's a major problem. So, at this point, we have a real danger of essentially that we break 10K and turn it into resistance. Oh, Chad, you're just sliding your levels down. We could get there and then you want 6K. Look, I'm going to take it level by level, but why 10K, right? Why is 10K important? You've got some serious price structure at 10K. Okay. The resistance, you broke up above it, it held the support, broke below resistance, broke up above bullish throwback, right? I did that fast, but if you're a student of big chuds, you see it, right? So given this price interaction with the MA 200, you see it doing something like that. We get down here, and then all of a sudden, 10K is resistance, right? And then what, right? Then what, right? We've got major systemic risk, funds blowing up, trend rolling over. There's just no guarantee that doesn't happen. So you want to prepare yourself kind of for whatever happens. I'm seeing that as a scenario given what's going on with the price versus the 200 period moving average. Here's the next tweet, right? Look, so people have said, when we were heading down, we broke 30K. When we broke 30K, by the way, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Great to have you folks here. Appreciate that. When we were dropping down below, and by the way, hit like, subscribe, all that normal stuff. I'm not like a YouTuber, so I'm not good at this. But when we broke 30K, people said, "Oh, it's never broken below the prior all-time high before, right? It's never happened." And my follow-up to that was, what? It's never happened in like the 12 years we've existed. Bitcoin's existed as an asset class. Like, you can't hang your hat on what has never happened in such a short period of time, and people get caught up in that. And I think it's foolhardy. It's Kool-Aid drinking, right? So the moment you realize, and here's the thing, there's literally no guarantee we make a new all-time high in the next 5 or 10 years. Yes, this is incredibly drastic. And you can say, Chad, you don't understand the tokenomics. And I'd say, I don't care about the tokenomics. I'm a price guy. I'm a trend guy. Chad, you don't understand Bitcoin. Like, fine. Like, read the replies and you'll see the people who call me a complete moron, which is great. I believe in freedom of speech. If you're abusive, I'll just mute you most likely, and I won't have to deal with it going forward. But this is just like, you have to realize there's no guarantee, which means you have to manage your risk, right? I put out a tweet. This is such an important tweet, right? Look, don't ever allow yourself to believe in a wrong one. Duh, 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 duh. Here we go. Don't ever allow yourself to believe in, okay, anything, right? The minute you start believing in something is the minute you stop managing your risk and respecting support breakdowns on the chart. Respect your money, right? Respect your money. So Bitcoin has had so many key warning signs, and people who, believed in the super cycle or believed in the tokenomics or believed in whatever didn't sell on the major warning signs, the 45K false breakout, the clear break below, below 28K on that most recent breakdown. So, um, there's no guarantee. No one owes you anything. Like the minute you realize that in life, you'll do better. Nobody owes you anything. Okay. Cheds is always bearish. I mean, I'm only bearish when the price is bearish. I'm not bearish. The price is bearish. It just means I have two eyes. I'm literally looking at it. Chad is always bearish. You probably only followed me since Bitcoin's been bearish. Okay. So if you go back to the mega Bitcoin, big mega Bitcoin moves, I was just a huge bull on the way up, right? And all these EMA 8, tests, I was ready to go. And here on this move up, all that good stuff. I'm bearish when the price is bearish. I don't really care. I don't have a preference. I'm just calling it the way I see it. If you followed me for a while, that's the case. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee you're going to get an all-time high. It's probably going to happen, but there's no guarantee. Let me see if I have the tweet. Okay, so this is interesting. There's no guarantee. Let me see here. What was the tweet? Was it 56K? 56K or 54K? Oops, sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Boom. So here we go. All right. So there's no guarantee we get an all-time high. But what about this? Let's say Bitcoin drops below 10K and ranges there for 6 to 12 months. Then has a super ripper to 54K. Like, what if that's our next high of cycle? Like, people are just conditioned to like, all I gotta do is buy, all I gotta is hodl, and I'll make it next time. But like it's just a new class, and the trend is rolling over. We're below the weekly 200. So, you know, what if that happens? What if we do this? We come in, get below 10K, range here, come back up and do whatever we do, boom, and then it's just 54K. That's our high, and we come lower, and then it's a lower high, like secular, longer term, macro, lower high, and that would be that'd be an unbelievable run. 5x return. Reasonable or not good enough. So you have to be open to the concept that like the trend has changed. It this time is different because of what we're seeing with the price versus the weekly MA 200, right? So you have to be ready, you have to be prepared. Don't just get stuck in the old mindset that it never breaks below an all-time high. And love your vibes. London to Portugal. I love your vibes. Um, don't just get stuck in the old paradigm. You have to adapt to new information, adapt or die. All right. So I think it's great. I think it's reasonable, and that'd be an unbelievable run. So, you know, this would be unbelievable. Drop below 10K, we can accumulate, then we get a 5xer. Well, the people who bought at 60K, believing that eventually we get to 100K, they'll be pissed because they're not gonna, get unstuck or whatever. They're not gonna get back below their initial entry. So what are some potential scenarios for a likely Bitcoin bottom? Here's another tweet, and people, oh, Ched, you're fudding. No, I'm literally just hanging out and telling you like what comes to mind and what I think is interesting and what like might reverse a trend, right? That's what I'm saying, right? So here are some possibilities. So we tag 10 to 12K slowly. L bottom. What's an L bottom? Right? What's an L bottom? Boom, boom. That's an L. Here's a V. Here's a U. Here's a W. Right? You see all sorts of also, but L. Boom. We drop down, basically go sideways and accumulate. That I think would be ideal. That would make the most sense. That's a possibility. This is the most reasonable, I think probably the most likely. if I had to, put my finger on one. Michael Saylor sells some Bitcoin. Probably not gonna happen because the guy is a complete degenerate. It's just an unbelievable degenerate. I've been calling him out since he was buying up here in the like 50K range, and I basically called him out on Twitter and said, like, this makes me want to short MicroStrategy. You're nuts. People came out and said, Chad, you don't understand. This guy's a visionary. This guy's playing chess. You're playing checkers. All right, let's see which one of us is playing chess and which one is playing checkers now. All right. How about that? All right. So every time he's bought, the price has gone down. So if he sells, maybe that's a bottom, and this would cause a lot of people to give up at once, which is what you need to reverse the trend. You need volume and volatility. Another famous perma bull capitulates. The president of El Salvador. We had a friend here, a viewer, who said they're from El Salvador. Great to hear you as well. Who cares? We didn't get a blow off top. Who cares? What is this? Stop following on narratives. It's a new asset class. It's only been around for a little while. Oh, because we didn't get a blow off top, we're not going to do 80%. Like, stop listening to people who are just giving you stories. Focus on the price and the trend. The same people were telling you we couldn't break below a prior all-time high. I just so annoyed when I hear that. Oh, because we didn't have a blow off top. We had a really well-defined top. We went 3K to 64 to 69K. Like, what are we talking about here? We didn't have a blow off top. Like, get a grip, people. All right. Take a deep breath, Cheds. All right. So another famous perma bull capitulates, like El Salvador. That would also cause panic and capitulation, which is what we need for a bottom. Okay. 10K daily range candle. I talked about that earlier. Volatility bottom, and then some major exchange goes down, Coinbase, Binance, or whatever, and some price cascade. You often will see a major exchange go down with like a short-term bottom, right? You see that love the passion. I've been doing this for a while now. I've been on Bitcoin Live 4 years. I don't think I've missed a video in 3 years. I've been on Twitter 18 hours a day for many years. So I love what I do clearly. So that's where the passion comes from. And I'm good. It's fun to be good at something. I got to tell you, I'll tell you that much. It's fun to be good at something. So I enjoy that. So thank you for that comment. So something like that, major exchange goes down. That would be a possibility. Just 3 more tweets. So look, this is what we don't want to happen to the weekly MA200. Here it is, the blue line. All right. So what am I talking about? So back in April 12th, Big Chad's price is at 40K. And I said, look at the history of the last 2 times on the daily chart, the MA200 rolled over. Right. This is at 40K. We're in a pretty clear bear flag at that point. We rolled over. We shaved 50% off it at that point. MA200, you see the blue line flattening out. And then what happened? Boom. Rolled over, and now we're at 20K. We don't want to see that. We don't want to see the MA200 flattening out and rolling over on the weekly chart, which is a very real possibility the more time we spend below the daily MA200, right? And so look at what's happened since the tweet. I'm pointing out, I'm trying to get people to, like that person who said we didn't have a blow off top. Like, who cares? What does that mean? What is that? Is that is that what you tell yourself? Is that like a coping mechanism? That's not actionable. It's complete garbage. Like, don't ever say, come on, people. Stop listening to folks who are just feeding you that garbage. So if we close here, approximately 19K, July 3rd. So we did close pretty close to that, right? July 3rd. So this is this week. When did I put this out? Let's see, July 3rd. This is in the morning. This is in the morning, the weekly candle. So I'm basically saying this would be the deepest price penetration in history below the weekly MA200. And it's happened. Look at this price versus the MA200. We were barely below it back in 2015. Double touch, V bottom, which we're not going to have this time, right? We're not going to have the Fed injecting all that liquidity. We have an L bottom at best, most likely. And then we had it right here. Look at that deep close below. Oh, I don't want to do that. We had let's go back and get rid of that. We had that deep close below the MA 200, right? That's what I'm talking about. And I say, here's reference. Here's 2015, close kind of right near it. And then there's the V bottom, and we're only whatever, a few percentage points. And then here, basically 15% below. This is if we had closed it at 19K. What did we close at? We closed at basically like 20K. So it wasn't 15, it was like 13%. The trend has changed. Like we're in new territory here. So I'm trying to tell people, like, there's no guarantee. We're done with the guarantees where you're guaranteed to just buy the 80% drop and then you're going to get like a 20xer or whatever. Like nobody owes you anything. There's no guarantees. Nobody owes you anything. Okay? Period, point blank. And we are seeing the trend change. That is a problem. And so that's what this tweet is talking about. All right. Let's see here. All right. All right. What are we doing? BTC visual. So here we go. This is just a short-term signal for just kind of monitoring 4-hour morning doji star back into range highs and descending trend line on the daily. And then so I put it out. Sometimes I'm just on my phone where I don't have, I'm not, I don't feel like just putting out a chart and annotating it, but I want to get the signal out. I'm also trying to push you. I'm trying to be the mother bird pushing the baby bird off the nest. I want to see if you can fly. I want you to see this and be like, what is he talking about? Let me go Google it. I'm trying to encourage you. And then, sometimes I'll say, here's a visual. Morning doji star, right? It's a morning star, but with a doji versus a spinning top. Morning doji star back into range highs. Range is like top of the range, bottom of the range, but it's corresponding with the descending trend line on the daily. All right, Ched. Oh, Ched. Someone replied, oh, Ched, I thought you don't use diagonals. I'll tell you what, I don't use them to form a trade, but I use them to observe a trend, right? A trend line is about the trend, not the line, right? And it doesn't really matter whether I draw it here. Let me move that a little bit, actually. It doesn't matter where I really draw it here or here or here. That actually doesn't matter because there's a filter around the line. It's showing a trend. You've got a clearly defined structure of lower highs and falling supply, right? That's what that trend line is showing you, right? Then you've got the higher low structure here as well, more or less forming the bearish pennant. On the 4-hour chart, so we have the outside bar on the daily. I tweeted that. Outside bar on the daily. It's led to some type of a mean reversion rally, but we still really haven't broken through that trend line. We're at the daily MA20. So far, essentially stalling. And there it is, right? Morning doji star right up into resistance. So we'll see what happens, right? Trends tend to continue. Price will most likely break bearish out of this pattern. If it doesn't, it doesn't mean like bulls won and the bottom is in. Then we start to watch for, it's sequential. It's level by level. We watch for lower high break. We watch for the most recent up thrust was around 21.8, 21.7. We watch for price interaction with daily EMA 34. We need to close above the daily EMA 34 before you can start to sniff out sideways. Okay. A downtrend, and this has gone longer than I thought, 49 minutes already. A downtrend will go sideways before it goes up. Right. And that's what we did back when we had the false breakout here. We started to go sideways. We recaptured the 34. We went sideways. Then we had the false breakout and the rejection. We almost reversed and it failed. So if we can somehow rally to and close above the daily EMA 34, we'll start to watch for price structure. We'll start to watch for the price to go sideways and watch for some type of a pivot. You've got resistance at the underside of the prior broken support. You've got the falling MA50, you got the falling daily MA200. You've got all that, right? That's all within the context of everything I've said earlier about what's going on with the weekly time frame. All right. I've gone on way longer than I thought I was going to go on. 50 minutes. Friends, you can find me on Twitter. I am at Big Cheds. Academic observations about price trading psychology, risk management. I do this for fun. I appreciate all your feedback. If you don't like it, like, no sweat. Move on. If you disagree with me, good, right? Like, if we all agreed about what the price should be, there would be no market. The price wouldn't move. Okay. I am the author of Trading Wisdom, 50 Lessons Every Trader Should Know. The feedback's been ridiculous. I never thought it would be this successful. That's the God honest truth. I never thought it would be this successful. 4.7 out of 5 stars. Kindle, audiobook, hardcover, or paperback. You don't want to buy it. No sweat. Free version at Ched's Trading on YouTube. Trading Wisdom, 50 Lessons Every Trader Should Know. I'm doing one lesson at a time. If you want to get serious, if you want to stop messing around, if you want to stop screwing around, join Bitcoin Live. I'm a founding analyst along with a just world-class team of analysts. I've been doing market updates for 4 years. I haven't missed one in 3 years. Twice a week, I'm on vacation. I'm sick. I'm doing a video update. If I miss an update, I've been kidnapped. Like, I will not miss an update. You can count on that. Helps me practice. Helps you folks out as well. So I would encourage you to check that out. But more than anything, I want to say thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to come here on a Tuesday night and just kind of talk to you, to ramble on, to explain my tweets, to kind of go over what I think is going on in the market. I really enjoy that. It's a worldwide thing. I love your feedback. We've had some just unbelievable feedback. Reliable chats, nice live video. Thank you. It's just great. Check me out on YouTube. I do on Twitter. I do spaces as well. I enjoy hearing from you folks there. So, I appreciate you, and bring on the dancing sheds. You ask for it, you will get it. So listen, I hope everybody's doing okay. You have to learn how to define your risk before it defines you. When you take a trade, know when your idea fails and be willing to walk away and say, my idea failed, right? I need to step back. I need to learn a little bit more. I need to kind of reassess. So don't get married to a bad idea. Stop adding to your losers, and that will kind of set you in the right direction. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And I'll talk to you folks again soon. Let's get this party started. Peace out.